Hi, this is the Reddit Crochet Lady. I'm so excited to start this adventure. I'm new, so please be kind. I crocheted this very, very cute little bunny with hat, and that's going to be our episode name, Bunny. We're going to talk about Reddit stories today. If you do like listening to the stories, please subscribe and like my videos so you never miss one. All right, let's get started. Here we go. Okay, this one's called Am I the A-hole for asking a guest not to crochet at my bachelorette party? I, 28 female, am getting married this year. Yay! And went on my bachelorette trip last weekend. The trip was to a cabin type setting where we all stayed in the same house. I have 3 bridesmaids, but also invited some friends. Part of the group is my brother's girlfriend, 36 female, brother is 38 male, of 5 months, who isn't in the wedding party. She wasn't initially invited because I don't know her well and they live in another state, but my brother asked me to invite her as a favor to him. He said that she's never been to a bachelorette party and likely never would be. I have no idea why. This is just what he told me, and hoped she could have this experience. Since people would be paying their own way and the group wasn't large, I figured why not? And she seemed nice enough. The problem is during the weekend, she would insist on crocheting all the time, even during our events and parties. When I asked her to participate with us, she said that she took time off for the trip and wanted to make the most of her vacation by catching up on her crochet projects, and that playing games and hanging out with my friends wasn't fun, and she didn't want to waste her days off. All her words, not mine. The trip's over now, but apparently she was super peeved that I asked her to limit her crocheting time, and my brother's been pestering me to apologize to her for ruining her trip. But it wasn't her trip. It was the bride's trip, and everybody was there to celebrate with her and have a good time. I personally don't feel like I should apologize. No, you shouldn't. Because she shouldn't have come to the bachelorette party if she didn't want to participate in bachelorette things. But I also love my brother very much, and I don't want this to come between us. And I'm starting to doubt myself because his girlfriend sounds really annoyed with me. Please help. Okay, no, I don't think she's the a-hole. She did her brother a favor, invited this girl that she doesn't know very well, and I love to crochet, but when I go on trips and stuff, there's no way I'd be crocheting unless it's like in the evening, something like that. But I wouldn't bring a bunch of things to crochet. I don't know what this woman brought to crochet, but no, I don't think the bride's the a-hole. So there's an edit. I wanted to add some details in case it helps because I think some people think I'm a bridezilla. She was crocheting a throw blanket about the width of my entire arm span. That's what she was carrying around with her to dinner, museum, wineries, etc. It wasn't some small thing the size of my palm. She also had the material for the blanket with her, about 5 balls of yarn. I'm not sure what you would call it, but each ball was about the size of a cantaloupe. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight to carry around with you. We gave her an option to stay home. I told her I wouldn't be offended if the trip wasn't her style and she wanted to spend it crocheting, but she insisted on coming out with us to every single event. Then what is this girl's problem? Then don't crochet. This poor bride. Even though my brother asked me to bring her, she admitted to me that she wanted to come and that she had asked my brother to ask me. She doesn't have social anxiety. She just thought our activities were boring and a waste of her time. Then she shouldn't have went with them. Or even just stayed home and crocheted. To be clear, I don't care that she wants to crochet in general. Most of our activities ended after dinner anyways, and we'd just hang out in the living room. I just asked her to save the crocheting for at night after our activities. My issue is that she was taking her crocheting with us to places like wine tasting, brunch, and a museum tour. It was super disrespectful in my eyes because she'd insisted on coming yet wouldn't participate in the activities. Honestly, I was bothered that she was crocheting when we were playing bridal games, but at least that was in our living room. I mentioned this in another comment, but I overheard her calling my party a basic B bachelorette party. But I didn't want to confront her because I didn't want drama. My biggest issue isn't that she wasn't giving me attention. Please, I'm a grown adult and always thankful for my friends giving me love and joy during the weekend. I just thought it was super rude to crochet such a big project during a group activity. She literally brought her blanket to the museum and crocheted during a private tour. Wowza. No, I think the girlfriend is in the wrong. I think the bride was trying to do something nice, and uh, her brother's girlfriend's kind of an ass, in my opinion. She's absolutely in the wrong. I love to crochet. I crochet when I go to doctor's office appointments because they always have you waiting. I do those kind of things. And if I even did decide to bring a project on a trip, it would be a little one to do like little things with, not a huge one and carry it around with me everywhere. And if she didn't like the games and the different things, then why was she there? She should have just left. Very strange, very weird. Let me know what you guys think. On to the next one. This one is called Am I the A-hole for calling my wife insecure and selfish on our wedding day? I, 28 male, and my wife, 26 female, got married last Wednesday, and the ceremony was amazing. My wife was very strict on the fact that no guests are allowed to wear white, which is understandable because for females that's considered rude or bad luck in weddings, I think. The reception was going well too until I noticed my wife walking over to the bathroom with her face held in her hands. Obviously, I could tell my wife was upset, so I rushed across the room. Once I got to the bathroom, I knocked on the door and informed my wife that it was me at the door. After a few minutes, I heard the door unlock and open. When I got in and saw my wife was sitting on the floor with her mascara running down her cheeks. I asked what was wrong, and she told me that one of the nephews was wearing white jeans and a white bow tie. I immediately thought to myself how she was completely overreacting because he's 6 years old and had no idea you can't wear white at a wedding. I told her she was overreacting, but in a much nicer way, and said that she should enjoy the reception and forget about the whole thing. Eventually, she texted her sister to come to the bathroom and fix her makeup so she could get back out there and have a good night. After a while, I saw her talking to my sister, the mom of the nephew, and I thought she was just making conversation. About an hour later, my sister pulled me aside and started berating me for my wife's behavior. She said my wife had asked her and her son to leave unless she had a change of clothes for him. This was far from okay to me. I asked my wife to talk and explain everything my sister told me. My wife said she was completely in the right for what she said, and I told her if she kicks my family out, I will happily leave too. My wife started crying and saying that this is her day and she doesn't want it to be ruined by our nephew. This angered me because I had enough of her ruining our day over something silly. I then said she was not only selfish, but that she was insanely insecure if she's worried about a 6-year-old looking better than her. My wife's been staying with her mother since the wedding and we haven't spoke once. Her mother reached out to me this morning and said that I need to apologize right away for being out of line. I really don't believe I'm in the wrong here. So what do you think? Am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. You might have made a big mistake and need to go get an annulment. I'm just saying. Wow. I know weddings are really stressful, but if you're worried about a little kid in white jeans and a white tie, it's one thing if a woman shows up in white. That's the problem. Not a little boy in white pants and a white tie. This woman is a little off her rocker. Just saying. Just saying. Wowza. Like, no way are you in the a-hole. You might need to be running for the heels. Like, damn. You guys let me know what you think. On to the next. So this one's called, Am I the A-hole for letting my father cause a huge scene at my engagement party and embarrassing my future mother-in-law? My father has many faults. I'm well aware of these and therefore tend to keep our interactions private. I still love him and have developed a system to keep him from effing me over. My fiance asked me to marry him, and I said yes. And then I went privately and told my dad about it. We had a nice dinner with my fiance, and that was that. My future mother-in-law wanted to have an engagement party. I was fine with it. I just requested that she did not invite my father. I explained that we had a strained relationship and I'd prefer to keep him at a distance. She agreed. I guess she thought she knew better than me. She wanted to fix our relationship, and the first step was inviting him to her home for a party with alcohol. When I met my dad for dinner, I specifically chose a restaurant that did not have a liquor license, and we went right after work. His car has a breathalyzer built in to make it start, and I know what will happen otherwise. When I saw my dad there, my stomach flipped. I asked her what was going on, and she said a good daughter would want her dad to be there on an important day. I asked her to please make him leave. She said I was rude. I went over to my dad and asked him to leave. He promised to behave. He was so happy to be invited. I told my fiance that I might need to leave in a hurry and he had to come with me when I left. He knows the whole story. He agreed. My father was fine in the beginning. The wine came around and I glared at him and shook my head no. He took some, then more, then more. He started getting happy. That doesn't last long. After dinner, there were drinks. As soon as I heard him raise his voice, I asked my fiance to leave. I faked a stomach problem and we left. The least embarrassing thing he did was piss himself and puke on the lawn. My future mother-in-law is furious. She said that we should have told her that my father has a drinking problem. I said it wouldn't have been a problem if she hadn't lied to my face about not inviting him. My father is humiliated that he did this, and I'm just numb. My uncle has no problem controlling my dad. He is a cop and has come to several events with my dad where he kept him from drinking. My elder brother's wedding, for example, but he lives in another city. He would have been at the wedding. I'm just angry that she lied, and I'm embarrassed, and I'm venting here because I need someone to tell me I'm not an a-hole for not wanting to tell people about my to tell people my father is like this. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, this poor girl. I've had family members be an alcoholic in my life, and this poor girl is going through it. That's got to be tough. Very, very tough. And it's pretty, I don't think she's an a-hole. I think she did what she felt like she needed to do. She told her future mother-in-law not to invite him, and she doesn't need to explain everything to you. She just said, hey, don't invite him. I don't want him there. We have a strained relationship. The mother-in-law is in the wrong, completely in the wrong. This poor girl, when she says I'm just numb, that poor girl. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to have someone that you love, that's your father. Because fathers are supposed to take care of daughters and to be there. And when you have somebody that's an alcoholic, they can't show up for their children. That's tough. I don't think this girl is an a-hole for not wanting to tell people about her father. The mother-in-law should have just said okay and understood there is a reason why she didn't want him at the engagement party. No, I don't think she's an a-hole. You guys let me know what you think. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law that she upstaged me at my wedding? I, 30 female, recently got married to Matt, 30 male. Matt has a stepsister, Tiffany, 28 female. I have met her less than 10 times in 5 years. I dated Matt as she doesn't live nearby and is not close to my husband. However, she was invited to our wedding. I should mention that Tiffany is very attractive. She is pretty with a currently fashionable body type. She also dresses well and spends money on her appearance. This is very known, and even though I've only met her a few times, whenever she is brought up by my in-laws, she always mentioned as being very invested in her image. The ceremony went fine, but afterwards, while my in-laws were congratulating me, my father-in-law commented that I looked beautiful, and in the next breath mentioned Tiffany did too. His wife caught his eye and shook her head, but I ignored it. When Tiffany came over to say congratulations, she looked stunning. Her dress was beautiful and fit her perfectly. Her hair and her makeup looked like they have been done by a professional, and she was wearing a pair of obviously designer shoes. Her outfit was totally appropriate for our event, but I was still weirdly upset by how she looked and immediately felt self-conscious next to her. Even Matt told her she looked great, and they rarely talk. But the rest of the night, every single male guest at the wedding asked about Tiffany, who she was, how I know her, if she was single, etc. By the speeches, I was fed up and almost in tears. Even the best man mentions her in his speech, off the cuff. I let it go, went on my honeymoon, and tried to forget the whole thing. A week ago, and this past weekend had dinner with my in-laws. Tiffany was visiting, and we learned that she got engaged, and she showed us her very large ring and said that she was planning to have the wedding next year, and it would be a black tie event. Before I could stop myself, I jokingly said that I was pretty sure I'd already been to her wedding. I was the one in the white dress. She asked what I meant, and I thought there was no point in lying, so I admitted I felt upstaged at my wedding. She laughed and said, "You can't upstage a bride." I asked if I could wear white to her wedding. Then she shrugged and said, "If you think it'll help." She then apologized if I felt her outfit was inappropriate. My in-laws moved the conversation on, and we went on with dinner. When we got home, my husband blew up at me and saying I embarrassed him by being petty and jealous of Tiffany. He said he doesn't even like her, but even he knows that she can't do anything about what she looks like or her clothes she can afford. And I made myself look better and childish, and him by association. I admitted it wasn't my best moment, but I thought he would at least understand how I felt, given that he heard everyone commenting that night. He was demanding that I apologize to Tiffany and my parents, but I don't think I said anything that horrendous. Am I the a-hole? I can understand where the bride's coming from. She's feeling insecure because when a like drop dead gorgeous woman comes into the room, you just shrink a little bit. But it's also not Tiffany's fault. I mean, it's not, especially when she has the money to take care of herself. That's huge. I don't think Tiffany did anything wrong, you know. You just got and us women are our own worst enemies in a way. So I just think that yes, I think the bride is an a-hole. I do. But I also understand where she's coming from. But I also think Tiffany is like, dude, I'm just living and trying to support my stepbrother. So this one was a tough one, but yes, the bride is an a-hole. Tell me what you guys think. So this one is called, Am I the A-hole for going to a wedding my entire family is boycotting? I have several sisters, and this situation involves two of them. Our oldest sister, April, was dating Jack for 2 years while they were in college. She was a year ahead of him. When she graduated, she got a job offer in another state. She didn't want to have a long-distance relationship, so she broke up with him before moving. The entire time they dated, we only met him twice, so when they broke up, our family completely forgot about him. 5 years later, our youngest sister, Megan, was at an industry convention for her job and ran into Jack as he was one of the speakers. One thing led to another, and they started a long-distance dating. Before it got serious, Megan asked April if she cared and was given permission to continue. April was engaged at the time and didn't seem to care about their relationship. This year, Jack moved back to the States, to our state, to be closer to Megan, and they eventually got engaged. April started to make demands like being the maid of honor and vetoing the venue they picked and not wanting to invite mutual friends. I'm a dude, and Megan's wedding will be the first one I'll be going to, so I'm not sure if April's demands are out of line, but both sisters ended up in a screaming match. I wasn't there, but I heard it was vicious. To make a long story short, our family decided to boycott Megan's wedding next year. Her reasoning is that Megan is breaking some rule by marrying her ex. Of course, I think that's stupid. That's a stupid reason. Megan and I have always been closer than the rest of the siblings, so I'm decided I'm going to attend the wedding. Now April is on my case and saying that because I'm a guy and I don't understand what a betrayal it is for Megan to marry her ex. Our family is saying I am betraying April by supporting Megan's betrayal. Now it's a whole mess, and I'm getting nonstop texts about what an ass I am. No, I do not think the brother is in the wrong for wanting to go to Megan's wedding. I believe the family is in the wrong. Megan went to April, asked April, hey, I'm dating your ex. I'd really like to get serious with him. April said, yeah, sure. I'm wondering if April is no longer engaged anymore, and that's why she's throwing a hissy fit. That's what I'm wondering about. I think the family's in the wrong for allowing April to continue on to act like that. Completely in the wrong. I don't think that's right. I think you should go to Megan's wedding, stay close to your sister, and that's all you can do. April is absolutely in the wrong. The family's in the wrong. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. All right, well, this is the ending of the bunny episode. I'm so happy to have this in the books. The bunny is not my crochet pattern, but I will link it down below. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.